And let me send greetings to the Executive Director of Oxfam, South Africa, Mmapaseka Ramafoko, Oxfam staff and partners, and also greetings to the Feminist Fellows. I do apologize that I could not join you in person, but I send you this message and that I'm honored as the opportunity to address yourselves as fellow activists championing the empowerment of women in the various spaces that you occupy. Your commitment to gender justice and keen interest in making a change is commendable. I encourage all of us that continue to work we are doing in our corners. We must not stop now. Change towards the complete emancipation of women from all forms of oppression is attained in so far as continuing fiercely so opposing misogyny, patriarchy, homophobia, sexism, and all forms of subjugation, particularly as it's directed towards women in all their diversities. I sincerely encourage all of us that as we interact in many ways, we should explore means to strengthen our collaboration and coordinating our efforts towards transforming our society to one where all women, regardless of their whereabouts, regardless of who they are, and also regardless of who they identify or how they identify, can enjoy the freedom to participate fully and meaningfully in areas of their human endeavor. The most challenging aspect of our work rests in great part of the arbitrary perception that colonial project crafted about us as women, our abilities, and consequently the intent or the extent to which we can meaningfully participate in the economy, social affairs, and the life in general through the introduction of private property. It is important that I start this aspect of my message to you, as the perceptions, the values, the norms we expose are what will determine whether we can address the important question of women empowerment. Our constitution is progressively as it advances values consistently so and empowers women. These values include human dignity, the achievement of equality, the advancement of human rights and freedom, non-racialism, non-sexism, in as many grounds that we have to consider. Therefore, our greatest challenge, whether we deal with it, is the subjugation of women, as it really challenges the value as enshrined in our constitution. And we have to look at all of this in terms of other intersectional issues and high levels of violence and gender-based violence. History educates us that patriarchy and oppression are direct products of the colonial project and how it sought to corrupt the position of women in African society. Further, history points to the demonstration examples of women have always been in the forefront of resisting the colonial project, its patriarchy, skewed ownership patterns, and also looking at oppression. An example that many may not know is that the Great Kingdom of Timbuktu was named after Mbaktu, a woman left to oversee the camp while the Tuareg roamed the Sahara. There are many such examples when one considers the history of our continent and how African civilization was organized in the pre-colonial era. Thomas Sankara amply makes an important observation on the advent of the subjugation of women when he asserts the enslavement of women was born with the arrival of private property, owing to the transition from one mode of production to another, and from one mode of social organization to another. Though conscious of this deceit, which imposes on them an unequal share of the burdens, women followed men in order to care for and raise all they loved. For their part, men exploited women's great self-sacrifice to the hilt. This was the great historic defeat of the female sex, I close quote. This mode of social organization continues to be woven into our own social fabric in practice. as women are positioned to be second-class citizens not deserving of equal opportunities. This is at the heart of why we continue to struggle to the full emancipation of people in general and women in particular from all forms of subjugation. This is a great challenge before us, and to disabuse ourselves of as a society of this perception as it speaks about women. We speak about the weaker sex, an inferior gender, a frail segment of human population. Weaker? How and where? Inferior to whom? Frail in comparison to what? Someone must tell us, because our African history and heritage paints a pre-colonial reality where women were important actors in social life. Even if someone can come out boldly and declare women as the weaker sex, that thinking has no room in our democracy. I would like to borrow from the words of Australian activist and writer G.D. Anderson, who amply reminds us in what she says. Feminism isn't about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives the strength. Close quote. Women must find equal expression in all facets of society, leadership, and all other areas endeavor, and particularly in the economy. You cannot win when half of your team is not at play. Research has extensively proven that organizations that are inclusive of and led by women far outperform those that are only led by men. Harrowing as the challenges facing women may be in South Africa, we must celebrate the strides we have achieved towards the empowerment of women, particularly so far as women taking up influential leadership positions in state machinery. Just this week, South Africa's first women Chief Justice was appointed by His Excellency President Ramaphosa. As it stands, 2 of 3 arms of the state are led by women, Parliament and the judiciary. All of us must join in congratulating Justice Mandisa Maya on achieving this historic milestone to be the first women Chief Justice in South Africa. Another key priority for our department is the coordination and monitoring of sanitary dignity framework. This initiative monitors and coordinates the supply of sanitary dignity products to schools that are in quintiles 1 to 3. Sanitary dignity and access to menstrual health products is a challenge in our country, with direct influence on girls' education. Some girls do not attend school when they are menstruating. Our approach, looking at the budget of the sanitary dignity framework, presents an opportunity to ensure that the participation of women-owned businesses in the value chain of manufacturing sanitary dignity product is promoted. Now, to achieve this, we are developing an integrated entrepreneurial development strategy. This strategy will support women, youth, and persons with disability to actively engage in and benefit from the economic opportunities presented within the sanitary dignity frame value chain. Further to this, His Excellency President Ramaphosa signed the Public Procurement Bill into law. And this progressive legislation designates that certain groups of people, particularly women, will be afforded certain set aside for the public procurement spend. We will be engaging the National Treasury on the operationalization of this act, particularly on what has been set aside for women, youth, and persons with disability. Demand-led skills development is a necessary cog in our own developmental agenda. If we are to stay abreast of changes happening in education and labor markets amid the global mega trends such as the automation, action against climate change, and the digitalization of products and services, which are changing the nature of work and skills development and skills demands, Consequently, skills and workforce development system must proactively adopt this mode. In the previous administration, Deputy President Paul Mashatile launched the South African National Service Institute to train and develop our youth to be resilient and to also be self-sustained, massifying the sector-specific skills development. We needed to power up our own national's industrialization aspiration, the global local economies, and kickstart a deliberate skills revolution open to every South African son and daughter. We envisage that this program will prepare young people to meet the country's current and future professional needs, and for future free of want, need and insecurity. The Constitution provides that everyone is equal before the law and has the right to equal protection and benefit of the law. Equality includes the full and equal enjoyment of all rights and freedoms. Consequently, the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities is implementing legislative and other measures to protect and advance the rights of persons with disability. It is trite that the challenges experienced by persons with disability are gendered, and young girls and women with disability remain vulnerable and victims of gender-based violence and femicide and other crimes, to the point of having children whose fathers are not known. The Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability, working with the JCPS cluster departments, will continue to raise awareness on access to justice and redress for persons with disabilities. As a department, we will work with the JCPS cluster departments to continue to raise awareness on access to justice and redress for persons with disability, to ensure that they have fully access to social and justice system. The department, in collaboration with DPME, will conduct an evaluation on the implementation of a white paper on the rights of persons with disability covering the period 2017 to 2022. And we will identify the gaps that exist in implementing the policy directives and the 9 strategic pillars to promote and protect the rights of persons with disability in our country. We will continue to analyze draft annual performance plans of government departments to promote disability inclusive planning and implementation for the country. Allow me to conclude with this message to the Feminist Fellowship of Oxfam South Africa's regional program. I commend you for your unwavering commitment to gender justice. Your effort and your passion are the catalyst for the change we so desperately need. As you continue on this journey, remember that every action you take, no matter how small, contributes to a larger movement towards equality and justice. You are the voice for those who cannot speak, the advocates for those who are unheard, and the leaders who will shape a future where gender justice is not just a dream, but a reality. Stay resilient in the face of challenges, stay united in your cause, and continue to inspire those around you with your dedication and courage. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can build a society where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Your work is invaluable, and your impact will be felt for generations to come. I leave you with the words profoundly articulated by the late 7th Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, who said, "Gender equality is more than a goal in itself. It is a precondition for meeting the challenge of reducing poverty, promoting sustainable development, and building good governance." Close quote. I thank you for the opportunity.